I ain't never seen that man with Young Boy before that shit happened with V-Roy. You see what I'm saying? It's like he using that like as a face card to be around him, like to make them look a little tough. You see what I'm saying?
Part that boy. Who stretched that boy? Who caught that boy, man?
You got on that plate that's hot smoking like that.
After that night when King Von lost his life, the streets never healed, and it's clear the OBlock crew and their rivals still can let the past stay buried. Lil Tim is back online, throwing slick shade again, even after 5 long years, and the pressure in the air feels ready to snap. This story cuts deep into real street history, the kind that has the entire hip-hop world watching every move like it could shift the culture overnight. Before we go any further, hit that like button and show real support, because every click keeps this channel alive and locked in with the toughest updates out here. To understand how we even got here, we gotta slide back to November 6, 2020, the night King Von tragically lost his life outside that Atlanta hookah lounge, a night that changed the whole landscape of the scene forever.
That's how I look at it, but I ain't really like.
So if it was,
it ain't much I can say because I'm still I'm working on my way up and shit. You see what I'm saying? I ain't. If my time gonna come, it's whatever. But it's just that shit, like that specific.
Lil Tim, who was close with Quando Rondo, was the one involved in that deadly moment. He claimed he acted in self-defense, and eventually the courts chose not to press charges. But the streets never stamped that decision as the final truth. That night became a forever stain, a moment nobody forgot, a moment that kept echoing through every crew tied to it. Even with all that time passing, the tension never cooled down. 5 years later, the rivalry still sits there like a pot boiling with the lid strapped on tight. NBA YoungBoy been sliding sly lines into his records, aimed straight toward OBlock, while Lil Tim been popping up beside him, acting like nothing could touch him. Meanwhile, OBlock stayed silent but sharp, watching everything, waiting for the right moment to respond, and the situation that just broke loose this week finally flipped that quiet pressure into full-on drama.
Because do you understand the whole situation or what?
I understand, but it's like, all right, you did what you did, okay.
Because I heard, not to cut you off, but I heard a lot of people from y'all side getting that, some people saying he did with like...
but he'll do what any street do if he got to defend his people, but it's like, all right, you did what you did, that's cool, all right, boom, the police...
King Von wasn't just another rapper, he was respected like OBlock royalty. He came up under Chief Keef's shadow, but Von had something different. Something raw and magnetic that made people feel like he was really about to take over. While Chief Keef shaped drill music, Von was out there living the reality those lyrics painted, and everybody knew his name in the streets long before he ever dropped a track. So when Von passed away, it wasn't just another artist gone. It felt like OBlock lost its heartbeat, its hope, its rising leader who could have shifted everything for them.
Was involved, you got out, bro. It ain't like you did some street shit and like it's just left in the streets. That shit on some police shit too at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like, do shit. Like, it's a difference from doing some street shit and the motherfucker know you did some street shit, right? And your name, you in the streets, like, your name ring or whatever. But you did some street shit, whatever, you claim, but the police was involved in that shit. But it's like, I don't like the way he go about it, like, be flexing and shit. Like, don't act like you did some shit and just got away, like, off the chain, like, off that. Like, bro, this ain't, like, it's some shit I can't even say. But it's like, I don't like how
that loss hit hard and rewired the whole story. And this is where things get wild. NBA YoungBoy recently dropped a new freestyle called Zero IQ, and it was packed with shots aimed straight at Von's legacy. Lil Tim didn't just listen casually. He jumped on TikTok vibing to the track and rapping along to the most explosive lines, pushing the moment to a whole new level.
Humble, gang. You see what I'm saying? I feel like he ain't humble about that shit, like, cause the same way like you did what you did, that shit could happen to you too, gang. Like,
fans were furious instantly. The lyrics went, "Who popped that boy? I'm him. Who starts that? Boy, I'm him." Tim was clearly referencing the situation with Von, acting bold with it in front of everyone. But what sent everything into overdrive was the timing. Lil Tim posted that TikTok on November 6th, 2025, exactly 5 years to the day Von lost his life. And on that same date, Tim's grandfather had also passed, 5 years apart, a detail that made the internet explode with theories and speculation once people connected the dots. People started connecting dots, arguing back and forth, and debating whether this was just coincidence or something way deeper. and suddenly the whole internet felt like it got pulled into a fresh storm.
Like on some easy shit, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Bro, you got lucky. All you did what you did. You defended you stood your ground, whatever. But it's like, it's just the way like had be playing out now, like all that on stage and okay, you
tough,
like yeah, gang. Like I don't be liking that gang because
bro was gangster.
Bro was a gangster. This is what I'm saying.
He died again.
Ain't doing no like with shit like that, bro. It's like, bro, you got lucky, really, bro. Like it ain't like you was on no you ain't finna face this man face to face.
This wasn't just another slick diss. This came off personal, raw, and way too sharp to ignore. Lil Tim looked straight into the camera, spit those bars word for word, and made sure nobody misunderstood who he was aiming at. The whole setup looked intentional from top to bottom. Bright lights, studio quality sound. The camera locked in perfectly like he wanted every frame to hit with maximum impact. This wasn't some random late night vibe clip.
Who caught that boy? Who stretched that boy? Who caught that boy, man?
This was content crafted to spark drama and keep eyes glued to him. Timing, the delivery, the message, everything felt calculated, almost engineered to stir reactions. But not everybody was letting that slide, especially Mona Ike from OBlock. Ike has been one of the strongest voices repping OBlock since Von's passing, and the moment that TikTok hit the net, he wasted no time stepping up to address Tim directly. Ike didn't he soften anything? He called out Lil Tim for trying to use King Von's name just to stay relevant in the public eye. He questioned why Tim suddenly started rocking with NBA YoungBoy after everything went down, especially when nobody ever saw them moving together before that night. In that viral interview with 5BJ Main, Ike broke it down with straight confidence. Said clearly, I ain't never seen that man with YoungBoy before. That situation with Von happened, and now he using that like a face card just to be around him, to make them look a little tough. That statement had people locked in instantly, but Ike wasn't done, not even close. He went even deeper, calling out how Lil Tim been acting ever since the incident, dropping songs, referencing the situation on stage, and moving like he's some type of certified street legend because of one tragic moment. Ike made it clear that from where he's standing, there's nothing real about that image at all. Then he hit Tim with one of the realest lines of the interview. You got off, bro. Hey, it ain't tea like you handled that on some real street level, and it just stayed there. That bar alone shook viewers because Ike was speaking from a place of pain, frustration, and truth as he saw it. But Ike didn't stop at questioning Tim's credibility. He started challenging the whole narrative about what actually happened that night in Atlanta. According to Ike and a few other OBlock voices, things weren't as clean or simple as people believed. They claimed Von wasn't even the one who started the fight, and that the story got twisted to make it seem like Tim jumped in hero style to protect his friend. Ike said in that interview, bro just got lucky really. It ain't like he was face to face with that man. His back was turned, whatever. Then he hit Tim with another warning, saying he should stay humble because, in Ike's words, the same way it happened for him, it could happen to him too. That line alone had comments exploding with theories, tension, and non-stop debates. But to really understand how explosive this beef is, you gotta know it goes way deeper than one tragic night. This whole situation sparked because King Von and his crew crossed paths with Quando Rondo outside that Atlanta hookah lounge. Things escalated fast, and the street's been split ever since. Von was already known for being bold, the type who didn't shy away from confrontation at all. But here's where things really start getting interesting. According to Ike and several voices from OBlock, Lil Tim was never seen as some certified street figure before everything went down that night. He was mostly known as Quando Rondo, his close friend, someone who just happened to be strapped when trouble hit. When King Von and his crew pulled up on Quando, Tim reacted instantly because he saw his friend in danger and did what he felt any loyal homie would have done in that moment. But the real issue didn't start with that split-second reaction, it came with what happened after the smoke cleared. Instead of laying low, staying humble, or distancing himself from the drama, Lil Tim started using that moment to build a whole new identity for himself. He linked up with NBA YoungBoy, dropped tracks hinting at the situation, and started moving like that moment turned him into some big figure overnight.
Ow.
That's what had OBlock really fired up. It wasn't just the tragedy, it was the way Tim carried himself afterward. The bragging, the songs, the online flexing, the constant references. It hit people in a way that felt disrespectful and unnecessary. And once the NBA Youngboy connection came into play, everything got way more complicated because their history with Lil Durk goes way back. Youngboy and Durk had tension for years before King Von's death even happened. So once that tragedy occurred, it gave Youngboy a loaded talking point to throw into his music, interviews, and energy toward OBlock. Suddenly, Lil Tim went from being a quiet friend in Quando Rando's circle to standing shoulder to shoulder with NBA Youngboy himself, touring with him, popping up in videos, chilling in the background like he was part of YB's inner circle from day one. Ike brought all of this up in his interview, saying, "I seen Quando Rondo before. That's cool. But Tim, now that man using that situation like a face card to be around Youngboy and make them look a little tough?" And Ike wasn't done. He added that Tim shouldn't even be bragging because, in his eyes, the situation didn't unfold the way Tim makes it sound. He said, "That ain't even cool. It's like a girl or something," making it clear he feels Tim is overinflating his own role and leaning into a narrative that isn't authentic. The street politics behind all this are wild. Quando Rondo been signed to Youngboy's for KT label for years, so their bond is already solid. But Tim, he was just a Savannah friend who suddenly got thrown into the spotlight after one tragic moment that shifted his entire life. Right after Lil Tim posted that TikTok, King Von's fans swarmed the comments, flooding them with emotional reactions, anger, disbelief, and heartbreak. Meanwhile, NBA Youngboy supporters defended Tim, saying he had every right to speak on his experience and tell his side. But this didn't stay just between fans. OBlock members themselves stepped in, posting on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and everywhere else, making it clear they weren't staying quiet. Some uploaded old clips of King Von reminding everyone of the energy he brought, while others dropped mysterious messages that people believed were aimed directly at Lil Tim. But the post that really shook the internet came from an OBlock member playing Von's music with the caption, "Long live Von. We ain't forgetting nothing." That hit hard, and it made one thing clear. To OBlock, this situation is far from settled, no matter what the courts decided. Meanwhile, NBA Youngboy's camp been staying real quiet. Kate, like they don't want to feed the fire. But people close to YB say he's been tightening up security heavy for Lil Tim and everyone moving in their circle, just in case things start heating up again. Even though Y hasn't said a single word back to OBlock publicly, his team's actions tell a whole different story. They know this situation still sits in a dangerous zone. Now let's get into that November 6th connection, because this part had the whole internet spooked beyond belief. King Von lost his life on November 6, 2020, around 2:22 a.m., outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, a moment stamped into hip-hop history forever. Fast forward exactly 5 years later, November 6, 2025, and Lil Tim's grandfather sadly passes away on the exact same date. That detail alone lit the internet on fire instantly. Von supporters started connecting dots, saying this was proof that energy always finds a way back around. Some even called it cosmic justice, linking the timing of Tim's TikTok, his grandfather's passing, and the 5-year anniversary of Von's death as signs of something deeper at play. The way it all lined up had people convinced this wasn't random. It felt symbolic, like the universe was watching. Lil Tim's supporters tried brushing it off, saying everyone was reading too much into coincidences, but let's keep it real. The timing felt almost too perfect for people to ignore, especially when you consider how intentional Tim usually is with his online moves. Folks started digging deeper and discovered that Tim's grandfather was basically the one who raised him when his parents weren't around. So losing him on the same date Von passed had the internet buzzing even louder. People started calling it a strange kind of spiritual balance, something that couldn't be explained with logic alone. The reaction from the Chicago scene came fast and heavy. Several OBlock affiliates dropped cryptic posts that had fans thinking they were sending direct warnings toward Tim. Some shared old clips of King Von with captions like, "We still here," and "Justice coming." Those messages instantly reignited the long-standing tension between the two camps. And it wasn't just OBlock speaking up. Other Chicago drill artists tied to Von, even ones who had their own issues with OBlock in the past, stepped in to show respect. People connected to FBG Duck's circle, yes, even with that deep history, posted messages calling out Tim for what they saw as crossing a major line with that TikTok. It shocked fans to see Von's name bringing together folks who once couldn't stand each other. That's how powerful this moment was. It unified rivals who normally would never be on the same side. The controversy even started touching the business world. Some concert venues reportedly began canceling NBA YoungBoy shows due to rising safety concerns. Promoters worried things could spill over if OBlock supporters decided to pull up at an event while Lil Tim was traveling with YB's crew. Nobody wanted to gamble with that type of energy in the building. The backlash to that single TikTok was instant and explosive. OBlock members and Von supporters flooded social media with emotional posts, challenges, warnings, and non-stop debates. The comment section under Tim's video turned into a digital battlefield with fans from both sides going at each other round after round. But this is where things get serious. This situation ain't just online anymore. According to people close to what's going on, some OBlock members have actively been trying to track down Lil Tim, saying he's been hiding behind NBA YoungBoy's fame and tight security while they're out here still carrying the emotional weight of what happened. They feel like he's protected by the spotlight while they live with the pain every day. Law enforcement isn't taking any chances either, sources say. Atlanta police have stepped up patrols in areas where NBA YoungBoy and his crew are known to move around. But Elodis definitely don't want to see another tragedy like the one that took King Von's life back in 2020. And the tension swirling right now feels like something they're trying to get ahead of before it even starts. Even the music industry is watching this mess unfold with serious concern. Behind the scenes, labels have reportedly been having tense conversations about artist safety and whether it's even worth investing in artists who stay caught up in long-running street feuds. Some insiders are even saying Lil Tim's TikTok might have pushed things into territory the industry isn't willing to step into anymore. This whole situation shows just how much social media flipped the entire game. Back in the day, if crews had tension, it stayed quiet behind closed doors, handled away from the cameras and the crowd. But now, artists are turning platforms like TikTok into stages for beef, posting, bragging, taking shots, and stirring things up in front of millions. Then some of them act shocked when that same energy circles right back toward them. Lil Tim could have stayed in the background, kept stacking money from being connected with YB, and lived a peaceful, low-key life. But instead, he keeps poking at the situation, dropping hints, clips, throwing shadows, and now that same tension he's been feeding is starting to push back hard. OBlock doesn't let disrespect slide, especially when it's tied to King Von's name, legacy, or memory. And honestly, this whole situation shines a light on something deeper than just one beef. It shows how drill culture and these old street rivalries have trapped young men in cycles that feel impossible to escape. King Von was only 26 when his life was taken, and Lil Tim is still young too. These are men who could be building businesses, raising families, mentoring the youth, and creating generational change. But instead, they ended up dragged into battles that started long before they even stepped into the spotlight. No matter which side you look at, it's heartbreaking. Von had real talent, raw storytelling, charisma, presence. The type of energy that could have shifted the whole direction of Chicago if he stayed focused on music. He had the potential to change his life and everybody around him. Lil Tim, on the other hand, wasn't searching for fame. He was reacting fast to protect his close friend Quando Rondo in a moment of chaos. But that one decision attached a permanent target to his name that might follow him forever. And now, OBlock members, like Mona and Ike, feel obligated to hold onto Von's legacy, defending his name with pride and loyalty, refusing to let that chapter fade or get twisted. And that whole November 6th connection? Maybe it's pure coincidence. Maybe it's something deeper, something spiritual, something written in ways we can't even understand. People online been arguing non-stop about it, half calling it random, half calling it cosmic. But one thing can't be denied, that TikTok instantly turned Lil Tim into one of the most talked about names in the game right now. And OBlock? They're definitely not known for letting anything slide when it comes to Von. Not a lyric, not a post, not a hint. This feud has been brewing for 5 long years and it doesn't look like it's slowing down at all. Every diss track, every cryptic caption, every side comment, every surprise post, it all keeps stacking more tension on top of what was already there. The real question now isn't if something else is going to happen, it's when. It's the energy around this situation is shifting again, and people can feel it. So what do you think? Is Lil Tim wrong for posting that TikTok, knowing the date, the history, and the impact it would have? Or was he simply expressing himself the way any artist would, regardless of the timing? And that November 6th connection, just a coincidence, or something spiritual happening behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button if this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture. Don't forget to subscribe for more Raw Street updates, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay safe, stay sharp, and always move smart.